The world-famous Ford Mustang, namesake of the pony cars, was not actually named after the horse.
Liar!
The actual story has a lot more twists and turns, and it's filled with adventure and marketing, and football, and patriotism, and crumpets, and further evidence that American manufacturing in the 60s was just built different. This one's a bit of a wild ride. Flashback to 1961. A movie comes out featuring tough guy finger snapping. America decides to find out if the moon is actually made out of cheese, and Ford comes to a realization.
I like money.
Turns out young people like going fast and looking good. So some cheeseball named Lee Iacocca says, hey, let's make a car for this. It was a car intended to embody the American spirit. No, not that spirit. It was to be sporty and affordable and have 4 seats and inspire a sense of freedom. Development began and things were going great, but there was one glaring problem tickling at them.
Let me tell you my name. I'm confused.
They had no name for the car, at which point I would imagine Ford designer John Nahar casually walks in and says,
I want to talk about a book I read about World War II.
Turns out our boy was indeed a patriot because he stated that nothing was more American than a plane that helped establish the United States as one of the remaining superpowers of the world, the P-51 Mustang. Pause. We'll come back to that. If that's the case, where did the P-51 get the name? Hop back to before America had even joined World War II, the Royal Air Force needed a long-distance capable fighter bomber, and America said,
I got you, homie.
Except that the first version with the American Allison engine kinda sucked.
Get that cone out of my face!
And so they swapped in the tea-sipping Rolls-Royce engine. So the all-American aerial warfighter was now English crumpets covered in Jack Daniels, and I'm okay with it.
You son of a bitch.
Still though, it was facing a problem that may sound familiar to you at this point, and the fact that it still needed a name.
Who am I?
While early American developers were keen on calling it the Apache, British airfighters commonly used animal and weather-related names for their planes, so it's kind of undramatically mostly coincidental that the UK Air Ministry settled on this. The Royal Air Force were the first to use the plane in combat, and by December 9th, 1940, had officially claimed the title of Mustang. So is that it then? America's best-selling sports car originally got its name based on coincidental British tabloids? Hold your horses. See what I did there? Get it? Because the story's about a... Anyway. So we're halfway there, because while Ford liked the idea of the name, they weren't keen on the affiliation with the warplane. I'd imagine that would feel a bit like if they released a modern-day truck called the Abrams. And if they do that now, I'm gonna be so mad. Lee Iacocca came back into the spotlight and said it was named after a college football team that inspired him with their athleticism, just like the new sports car would inspire America. Yes, the center stage enthusiast had just attended a football game where he had visited the locker room of South Methodist University team known as the Mustangs for a post-game chat. It was reported in a university press that Iacocca told them, quote, after watching the SMU Mustangs play with such flair, we have reached a decision. We will call our new car the Mustang because it will be light like your team. It will be quick like your team. It will be sporty like your team.
In the midst of all this, for you to say something like that,
Except that was a lie?
You are fake news.
When he originally made the claim, it was most likely for popularity, and later he would deny it altogether.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So now we're back to square one. The car was suggested the name from the P-51 plane, but Ford still didn't like the affiliation with the image of war, so where does the logo come from? Because it's certainly not a plane. Well, the name handily coincided with the logo of a generic galloping horse that designer Phil Clark had already been fiddling with for several years, so they just flipped the logo so that it always faces to the Wild West towards freedom, and the rest is history. Ford of Europe did later specify that it was attributed to the P-51, but for some reason Ford of US still likes to play it up loosely in a more sort of, who's to say, does it even matter? And while they've attributed several special edition trims to their cars over the years featuring various aviation themes, this seems to be the narrative that Ford of US wants to stick to. But even if they themselves didn't claim it to be 100% true, one of their partners in performance, Roush, certainly didn't mind making an Old Crow tribute Mustang to pay homage on the 75th anniversary of D-Day in 2019. Now if you thought that was interesting, I definitely suggest checking out this video where you can see how pretty much all modern day trucks were influenced by this one company's decision in 1994 to make them what they are today. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Now drive safe, stay curious, and have a wonderful day.